Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and today I'm going to stream a little while and talk about some things like stuff to do with Nikon cameras mainly. Maybe touch on Leica cameras a little bit. I got my Leica CL out today. I didn't warn anybody at all that I was going to spool this stream up, so whoever shows up just happens to be looking at YouTube tonight. I didn't even warn the usual peeps. Maybe I should do that. Let me see. Um, where's that button? No. Is it this one? No. It's this one. Okay. Yeah, I got to tell them that I'm online. Maybe they'll get the notice. Um, there. Now they've been warned. Okay, let's get the streaming stuff back up. Let's see here. Which one is it? This one. There we go. Oh, look. Hassan beat Bass Angler in. First, actually, I let Hassan win. You two are awesome. Oh. Well, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and just, let's see. Let me check my focus. Yeah, I'm still focused. Uh-oh. Somebody wrote me back. Don't know which one. Oh, no, this one. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it now. All right. Go back to that and to that. Now I can see all the stuff I need to see. I went away from 3 monitors back down to 2 because 3 just got to be too much. It was, the computer could handle it. I couldn't. So, so yeah, now I have the one right below the camera that has whatever I'm talking about on it, and then the one over here that has all of the workings of the live stream on it. You know, I got the chat, and then right here over to the side is the OBS window, so I can see what's actually playing. Kind of works out pretty good that way. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about is Nikon is discontinuing the D6. Kind of figured that's what happened actually sooner than it did. Sort of surprised it took this long, just to tell you the truth. The D6 being the DSLR flagship camera. Woo. You know, it's still, the Z9 essentially replaced it. And I'm sure there's some things that the D6 can do that the Z9 can't. Like, it can focus the screw drive focus lenses. It'll have the little drive motor on it. And there's other things I'm sure it can do. But, oh, gave Bass Angler something to do. Nice. But, you know, it just doesn't, like, it doesn't fit a space anymore. Nobody's buying the DSLRs going forward. So it kind of surprised me to see that it took this long for that camera to be heading out. It's officially not discontinued, but if you scroll down right here, you can see Kitamura camera has it listed discontinued, and Yodobashi camera has it low in stock, which means they're not ordering many more of them, or any more, however you say that. But yeah, that doesn't speak good. I mean, the DSLR ran for what? Right at 20 years, maybe just a couple more, and then it was over. The SLR lasted from 1959 until, when did they finally quit making film cameras? Was it '08? So, you know, it ran 50 years to where the DSLR only ran 20. A little, maybe a few more. Let's see. Ron, how you doing? Oh, and you're in Cage Cove. Wow. Albert's in the house. How you doing, Albert? The D6 is the flagship, but they say it has an anti-lacing filter, so I considered the D850 the flagship. Yeah, but that was never a problem. I mean, no one ever complained about the AA filter until they started leaving them out of the cameras. Yeah, I know it does help with a few things, but it when you leave it out, but it also helps with a few things when it's there. Whew. I got ice water today, so I'm going to be eating ice on camera. That's probably not good. You're probably not supposed to do that. Yeah, hope you are having a good trip, Ron. Maybe you're getting some good photos. Let's see. Making sure I haven't missed anything in the chat. But I thought it was interesting that it was worth noting. You know, it was a noteworthy event that the camera was phasing out. Now, this is something that I was interested in until I read a little more about it. The Nikon firmware for the Z50 and the ZFC was dropped. But when you go to the Nikon firmware, let me just open it in a new tab here, and you look at what the new firmware gets you, it just fixed one little issue when you're reviewing photos and you've done a certain thing. Like, it's just the 5 to 5.1, there's a good bit of stuff. But the 5.1 to 6 fixed one issue. So I'm not really seeing the reason there for me to update it. So I probably won't. I'll probably check mine, make sure, see how far behind I am, because I haven't updated the firmware in ages. It's literally lived on this little mount right behind the monitor here as my webcam for a long time now. I would dismount it on occasion and couple it up to my 500 PF and shoot wildlife photos with it, but I haven't even done that in a while. I got out the ZF the other day and put the teleconverter on it, so I didn't need the Z50 for that then, so I just left it on the little stand. But yeah, this is interesting that I only had that one item. I don't know how many of y'all operate a ZFC. I don't know that I know anybody that has one of those cameras at all. Phil Thatch had one for a little bit, and then he didn't like it, so he got rid of it. He sold it and got something else. But the real show-stopping object of the announcements from the past few days that really got my attention was this. Let me get this slider where I can pull it. There we go. Tamron's new 18 to 300. Of course, yeah, it's variable aperture, but it's also vibration control. That's what VC stand for. I don't remember what VXD means, but this is for the Z50, Z50 Mark II, and ZFC family of cameras. You can put it on full frame, but the camera will go into DX mode, which means it shoots crop center images. But this, in full frame measurements, that's 27 to 450 millimeter. That's literally your do everything lens. Like, I had the Nikon 18 to 200 when I had my D7000, and that lens was phenomenal. I was able to take photos of all sorts of stuff with it. I think Bass Angler even has one of them. Hey, look, somebody named Joe is here. How you doing, Joe? Thank you for stopping by. I always hated micro adjusting the focus for lenses. Don't have that issue with mirrorless. Yeah, I didn't do that most of the time. I didn't worry so much about critical focus on a lot of stuff. Like, if you're shooting at distance and you're shooting stop down, your depth of field's real deep anyway. So it really wasn't a big deal to me about micro adjusting focus. But if you're shooting portraiture, it makes sense to do it. You get the focus chart. I had the focus chart. I still have it somewhere around here. And I played with it a little bit and done a video on it, but I just never really worried too much about it. But that is a thing. You're right. Ron doesn't like the anti-lacing filter either. And I get that. You have crappy Wi-Fi in the campground, so can't watch much. Okay. But yeah, the general purpose do everything lens, they should sell a mountain of these lenses. And if you'll notice, at 18 millimeters, it's got a pretty large aperture. It's a third of a stop faster than f4, and it's at 300. it stops down to f6.3, which ain't super bad. That's only a third past f5.6. So you're only what 1 2/3 stop from min to max. For over the whole range. That's not bad at all. And at f6.3 with a 300 mil, you're going to get reasonably good depth of field. If you shoot up close, the background will be super blurry. But yeah, that's kind of a neat lens. And like I said, Nikon has an equivalent, or it used to have. I don't know if they make one now or not. I haven't checked, but they made one for the F mount. And I don't remember if they ever made the 300 mil or not. But the 18 to 200 was a phenomenal lens, and it was like one that I kept on the camera a lot, if I can say it like that. I used it a lot. Bass Angler saying the D850 and the D500 nail autofocus. No micro adjustments are usually needed unless you have a terrible lens. That's been his experience. Yeah. Hassan says his 9-year-old has started to show real interest in photography. He loves taking pictures of the squirrels and birds, and I'm wondering what a good first camera would be for him. The Z50 with his Tamron 18 to 300. I would say, honestly, the Z50 doesn't focus super well on wildlife. Now, if the wildlife's stationary, it works just fine. But if you could swing a Z50 Mark II, you would be way further down the road than the Z50. The Z50 would do great. It'll still do great. But the Z50 Mark II would do way greater. Just ask Ron. That thing has got crazy good autofocus in it. Let's see here. I don't think anything else was on there. Yeah, that was everything. And they're talking about vintage cameras and stuff. And the guy that lost his camera and it got buried and they dug it up and gave it back to him. Still had 3,500 pictures on it. I haven't read the whole story. I've just read the little highlight here. But yeah, he's got his pictures back. But yeah, that was interesting information there that I thought I would just kind of go over. But yeah, the D6 being discontinued, that was interesting to notice, because I thought that they had quit making that camera already, because the Z9, it's a little less money if I remember right. I cannot breathe enough. It's weird. Get him a used D500 and a 500 face Fresnel. So he can't hold it, gets tired of it, and then I can sell it to you. Phil has been getting some really good photos with that Z8 and that 600 PF Z mount. Yeah, that's been a really winning combination for him. Albert's saying, I'm betting everything I own that if Nikon launches a Nikon D6 monochrome camera, it will outsell other mirrorless camera models. I mean, Leica makes monochrome only cameras and they sell. People love them. So all you got to do is cultivate the following, and there is a following. I think you would do better with a ZF that was dedicated monochrome only, that didn't have a Bayer color array sensor on it at all. It just was the monochrome sensor like the Leica 2 monochrome has. Because then you could get those really high ISO numbers and it still wouldn't be noisy. It would look good. Because you can shoot those cameras at like 25,000 ISO and the pictures look fine. It's kind of surprising how good those cameras work. Bass Angler says, no, that's a light rig for birding. D500 and a 500 PF is a light rig for birding. When you got the 500 F4, yeah. Or the 400 F2.8, them giant lenses. Ron's gone. See you later, Ron. Thank you for jumping on. Yeah, that's impressive. I I don't know. The ZF having monochrome mode. Some people love it. I haven't used it hardly at all. I just haven't. I'm a color shooter. I mess around with black and white film. I've got my film cameras are right over there, and I I get them out once a year or so, and I'll shoot a few rolls of film, send them off, and carry on with my day. But at the end of the day, I just like color photos. I'm just more into it. I see the PF at about 12 to 1600 used. That is a lot for a kitty. Yeah. Let's see. If we go to used photo pro, let me just go back to this. There you go. Okay, usephoto.com. Brave web browser is constantly putting up something like this in their frame. Let's go to Use Photo Pro. Let's see if they have shop. What have I done? Oh, manual focus, SLR lenses. Yes, please. Now load it. Let's go. Once that loads, now what we need is a Nikon lens. More. Nikon. Okay, that should sort some of them down. Let's see. Yeah, let's pull the slider back to. Let's get it down here. Okay. We'll just pull it down to 1800 for now. Let's see. There's a Minolta lens in this list. I didn't pick Minolta from the list. Nikon. Show. Okay. We're getting there. Now, let's see if we can get to the lens type. Telephoto. Show. I'm getting there. Now, let's see. See if they have any. They should. There's one. 500 millimeter f8 reflex mirror lens. Works beautifully. Has really cool donut bokeh. There's some more mirror lenses. There we go. Look at this. They have transit chests to store them in. 500 millimeter f4 with ED glass, extra low dispersion glass, internal focus. It's AIS lens. Now here's the deal. You got to manual focus these monsters. Look at that lens. And that's without the lens hood. They can't even show the pictures with the lens hood. But look, it's $887 and that's shipped. I think. That's the price of the lens. But these are stunningly clear lenses. Problem is that they're manual focus. You have to practice with them and practice a lot. Because wildlife photographers use these lenses with film for years. So you know that they work. Because all them really cool photos from Africa from the 70s and 80s and 90s, shot on that guy. You know, that way, point that way, like that. Yeah, shot on that lens. And people made them work. But what it took was practice. See, and that's what nobody wants to do anymore. They want to buy the lens, snap it on the camera, let the autofocus do all the thinking, and just take the picture. If you was to get this lens and put it on some kind of a DSLR even, and just practice with it, photographing your dog in the yard, and your cat when it's wandering through the house, and just snapping photos and learn which way you turn it to drive the focus further and closer. And once once it becomes muscle memory, after a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks of doing that, you will have memorized how to move the lens to focus it. And I guarantee you will have probably an easy 75 to 80% hit rate, even photographing birds, little birds. Because if you do it like a lot of the guys I watch on YouTube that photograph little songbirds, they'll set up a focus trap. They'll set some food out. Maybe they don't put it out as like Phil does with his back porch blind where he screws a stick for a perch or whatever. But they'll put some food in the tree line to draw them out. and they'll focus on a specific section, waiting on a bird to come into it, and then they'll just take the pictures. Well, this will do that, and it's cheap, and it's an incredible lens for practically nothing. It comes in a wooden transit chest. See, I bought the 400 millimeter f2.8 and played with it a few years ago, but I didn't do it long enough to learn the lens, and it was frustrating me. I couldn't get good critical focus with it because I just wasn't used to using it, and trying to focus it manually, I kept going the wrong way, and I'd go too far and overshoot, and you like I said, you'd have to practice with it, and I just didn't, and that was my own downfall. I should have kept that lens because it was an incredible lens. Huh, he does love manual focus. Yeah, the 2 to 500 is a good choice. Woody says, "Oh, good, a wild live stream while I'm still awake." Oh, Lord. Sawdust. I've been out in the yard, not in the yard, campground sawing today. Building little projects with a handsaw, and I think I breathed some sawdust. Yeah, right, Albert. This lens is a monster. Yeah, the 500. But these things are, and they're everywhere. I think I bought that 400 2.8 from KEH back in the day. But let's see. See if they got anything else. They got multiple pages. What? Oh, that's not anything I'm going to worry on right now. Some of these are kind of cool that I wouldn't mind having. Listen at me. There I go. 600 millimeter f4. $940. Wow. It's got some hard use on it because it's marked. It's marked for it. Let's see. It don't look super bad. It's got the internal filters. You can see them right there. Yeah, it's got some wear on the what do you call it? The exterior finish has got some usage wear on it. I don't see the lens hood. It's not in any of the pictures. That's an enormous front element. Yeah. Yeah, it don't have the... Well, this is... No, I don't think that's the lens hood. No, it's not. Yeah, it doesn't say it has the lens hood. That's probably part of the reason it's so cheap. But yeah, dude, that's crazy. Okay. We got the 600 f4. Now let's do this. Let's just get to this place. Let's look up a current 600 millimeter f4. Let's put that into it. Yeah. Z-mount 600 millimeter f4 with the teleconverter. 15.5 or $900. And you focus it. Of course, the glass on the Z lens is going to be better because there's more technology in this. But this lens will still take beautiful photos. There's a 400 f3.5. What's this? 500 f4 for $887. 400 2.8, yeah. Mine had the lens hood like this one and the cover. Mine wasn't like this. They put tape on it or something. Probably put a sticker on it. That's probably why it's marked fair, that and the scratches on the lens hood. This 105 f1.8 is marked as poor condition, and they still want $200 for it. Wow. That's an old lens there. They got some good deals right now. I love these. 105 millimeter. I love the two-tone that you see on them. That's just a beautiful lens. Look how much it costs. It's $42.20. It's a gorgeous 105. I bet it's got some incredible character. It's not in bad shape. 6-bladed aperture. That's pretty cool. Not sure if the 600 will even fit in your car. Yeah, it's a big lens. I don't know and if you did fit, it might not be able to handle the weight. Oh, let's see here. Let's go here. Seems like we're looking at 200 to 500 super zooms. Let's see. Let's just do that and see what comes up. Tamron, Nikon, there it is. 850, 850, 824, 809, 750, excellent condition. Wow, and there's more. They got a bunch of these. Here's a broken one for $200 and a $400 one. Yeah, $750. You get the 2 to 500 super zoom, and that lens, as they say, punches way above its weight class. I always had wonderful images out of the one I had. The reason I got rid of mine was I just never used it anymore. Once I got the 500 face Fresnel, I just never used the 2 to 500. And I see a lot of times people will shoot with them and they'll zoom in, they'll shoot at 200 and they'll shoot at 344 or whatever, because they're looking at the metadata. I just shoot everything at 500. I always just racked it all the way out, and that's how I used it. I just never did pull it back in. It's just kind of odd that the way I used the lens was like a 500 millimeter. That was the reason I got the 500, because everything I shot was at 500 millimeters. Woody's got a good point. In the chat, if you're listening later, Hassan and Bass Angler are talking about getting together and doing some photography, and Woody pointed out that check in Alabama if there's a wildlife hospital that does like public eagle releases. And I would even go so far as to do any kind of animal releases. And see, he says he's photographed over 50 eagle releases in Virginia. And they love to have a photographer there to get photos, because they want those photos for their PR. That's how they generate revenue to continue to do wildlife rehabilitation. They need that press. So that's a really good point. You could reach out to them and actually potentially work out some kind of a trade there to where you can be at all the animal releases. Hassan's saying that since he's on the L mount, because he shoots the Lumix cameras, he's looking at the Sigma 150 to 600. Since Sigma's in the L mount alliance, they could make it, it'll work natively with that Panasonic camera. Yeah, that's a good point. But just to be honest, Nikon's a better camera. That'll probably get me some emojis in the chat. But today I have the Leica CL on the desk. You notice I'm not live streaming with the CL. I'm live streaming with the Z50. You want to know why? This don't have an HDMI port. I can't output the video from this. It'll shoot video. I just can't output it. It'll only save it to the card. I've shot a little video footage with it, but yeah, I can't make it a webcam because it just won't. This camera's kind of neat. It doesn't have a USB port. All it has, the only port it has is the battery door. And under the battery door, you have the battery and the memory card. That's it. There's no other connections on the camera whatsoever. It just has the two knobs that are both buttons and knobs. The center of the knob is a button. You have the shutter release, which is the power switch. You have 3 buttons on the back, and then this D-pad. That's it. That's the whole camera. There's nothing else. I mean, that's the lens release on the front. So, yeah. It's a very simplistic camera that takes really good photos, especially once you learn how to use it. It took me a little while to learn how to use it with manual lenses, but once I did, I really like that camera. It's light, small, takes stunningly good photos. They won't let me do the bear releases. Too many bad things can happen with a bear. Stay in the car. Shoot with the window rolled down. When the bear comes out, roll the window up or something like that. That's what I was thinking. Or maybe have the door cracked, and if the bear turns towards you, just pull the door. If they let you. Shots fired. Yeah, Bass Angler says his 200 to 500 Super Zoom lives at 500 anyway. So yeah, that's a very viable thing. That's a good deal. $850 for that lens is a steal. I paid, I think, almost $2,000 for mine. I bought it new from, I don't remember, Adorama or Murphy's Camera or somebody. And it was, I paid retail for it. It was a good lens though, and I bought it, and it wasn't very old on the release schedule when I bought mine. I put it on the D810 and took photos of surfers in Hawaii with it. Matter of fact, there's a picture right up there of you can't see it because of the camera angle, but yeah, surfer coming off of a big tall wave. It looks like it's about 15 or 20 feet tall. I don't know. Let's see if y'all can see it. If I get it down. I got these prints on cardboard. They make looks like you get the idea. But yeah, this was taken with the 2 to 500 Super Zoom and the D810. And yeah, I've got a bunch of this kind of stuff. I went down to the beach, and this is on Pipeline Beach. And I just sat there, and as the waves would roll in like they was wanting, and they would get up on them. Like I said, this is about a medium wave. It's not a little one, as you can tell. It's 15 or 20 feet tall. It's a big wave, but there were bigger ones. And this one just had the best angle. The wind blowing the surf off the top of the wave and the surfer dropping in. But yeah, you can get wonderful photos with the 2 to 500. It's sharp. I got some cool stuff with it. They release the bears in remote areas, and only the truck and bear trailer are allowed. Oh, okay. I get your point now. They're not doing them where there's room or anything. They take them up in the mountains and turn them out. I get you. But yeah, I can see how that could go sideways. Bear gets super mad, comes out of the cage, climbs up on top of it, eats you. Yeah, that would not be a good day. Albert makes a good point. I'll get back to Joe's comment in just a second. Albert says he learned to manually focus moving objects at football practice. He said he used to work on follow focus by focusing on the football during kickoffs, field goals, and extra points and punts. And that's, you see well, I'm sure they're using like focus tracking now, but you see those golf videographers where the guy hit the golf ball and they'll track the golf ball somehow through the flight of the golf ball. They may use a computer to do it now. I'm not sure how they do that, but to hold that golf ball on frame the whole time while it's in flight, that's impressive. But yeah, it just takes practice. Sansan says he's doing the same thing with his daughter's soccer games. Joe says, I gave my last Nikon interchangeable lens camera, an F100, to my niece. She wanted to try film. I think as farto as Coolpix A. That last part got mangled. I still have a cool picture. Hey, okay. I'm wondering what that was about. I was trying to decode that. I was like, there's something going on there. And all I hear is people complaining. Yeah. It's incredible. The cameras today do so much for us. The other day, literally let me see if I can get this to work. Let's see here. I don't know if I still have. I don't think I downloaded the images. I did one. Let's see. I put it in documents. Is that where it's at? No. Maybe it's in the photos folder. Is it pictures? I put it there. Yeah, this is where I put it. Okay. Let's see. Let's open one of these. Yeah. Move it over to here. Make this smaller. Go back to this. See this? This is on my front porch. This little guy, this picture's kind of yellow because I tried to turn up the warmth because it looks monochrome even though it's shot in color. It just happens to be this is a white wire that's dingy, and this is, I think these are called, it's not a Carolina wren, it's a chickadee, isn't it? Ain't it a Carolina chickadee? I think. But one of y'all know. But these little guys they're nesting. We have a little birdhouse that hangs from an eye hook on the front porch that we made. And, it's a little tiny house shape with, use a license plate for the roof, one of them kind of birdhouses. And they nest in it. And there's a pair of them, and that wire is right beside the birdhouse. So they land on that wire, then they go in the birdhouse. So I just sat there on the porch with the 500, with the teleconverter, adapted to the ZF. And I set it to bird eye detect autofocus. And I just kind of sat there with it pointed at that birdhouse. And when one would land, I could just move a little bit, hit the focus button, and it would detect their eye. And look, it's right on it. I was shocked at how well that worked. Of course, I've cropped it to a square and cropped it a little smaller. I mean, it's like, it's a chickadee. Okay, yeah, thank you, Woody. But yeah, they're little tiny birds. Even when I don't have the full-size image to share with you. But yeah, I cropped a lot of the image out. Well, let's see. Will it tell me if I look in the properties? This will tell me how many pixels it is. See, it's 3400 by 3400, and I shot 6000 by 4000. So I cropped it 1/4 of the way down from the top, and half of the width off of it, almost. So yeah, that's a pretty heavy crop. Now, of course, I was 15 feet away, 12 feet away, something like that, maybe about 10 or 12 feet, sitting on the porch swing, and they were right on the edge of the porch. So I was pretty close, but still, I think that's pretty cool rendering. Like I said, the only thing I don't like about it is it's kind of yellow, but they all are. I got this one of the bird. Look at this one. We'll get back to this. He's eating, got his food in the mouth. Let me zoom in a little bit. I can zoom in some and not lose. Well, look at the resolution. This is just 24 megapixels, guys. I'm not shooting 50 megapixels here. And you can see that the ZF does just fine. I don't know what kind of bugs them are it's eating, but it's got some critters. It's got some kind of little caterpillar and something else. Yeah, its feathers is roughed up. That's my favorite one from the whole bunch. Yeah, the eye's real sharp. Everybody worries about the eye being in focus. The eye's got good catch light in it. Yeah, I was impressed with that. But that was just sitting on the porch with the ZF and eye detect autofocus for a bird. It knew it. It landed it right up. Let's see what this one looks like. Let's check the croppage on this guy. 3500 by 3500, about the same, roughly the same crop. That's the same wire, so yeah, it makes sense. But you know, they're little tiny critters. Thank you, Bass Angler. Oh no, Joe's a cannon shooter. We'll try not to hold that against you. You know, some YouTuber I've heard of one time named Pete, he shot a Canon camera in his videos. Seemed to be pretty good with it. So I think it'll be okay. I try to say I'm camera agnostic, but that ain't true. I don't shoot Canon, and it's not because of any particular reason about the cameras. I don't really have a problem with their cameras at all. It's that I started out with Nikon, and I have a shelf full of Nikon glass, and for me to sell all that off and buy all that Canon glass and switch over the camera, it just ain't worth the trouble. Now that I'm in the ethos, I'm just going to stay in Nikon's ethos. That's the only reason that I went Nikon. I liked the D7000 when I saw it. That was the only reason I picked it. It looked good. Then later I found out it took beautiful pictures. Now you didn't hear that. I did wander down this path of Leica. And then there's an SL2 behind this camera that I'm filming on, and then there's an R8 over here, film camera. Now I've got several Leica cameras now, and I have Bass Angler to thank for that. He just told me one day, you should look at Leicas and see what you think. And I bought this little CL, and I have never looked back. I love this camera. It takes beautiful pictures for me. It's fun to use. It don't have any, it's a low frills tool. It's very expensive, but it's still fun. I love them. I like the SL2. It's heavy, but it takes gorgeous pictures. Yeah, Terrell makes a very good point, is that once you're in an ecosystem, whether it be Sony, Canon, or Nikon, or even Leica, it's easier to just stay in that system. And that's what those companies are banking on. They want to get you in with the body. The bodies are usually the cheap part. And then they'll make some reasonably good mid-grade glass that's really kindly inexpensive, and they'll sell that to you and get you kind of stuck on it. Jay Barkley says, I am polycamerous. I have 3 Nikon cameras currently. Yeah, I still have 3. The Z50 I'm filming on, the ZF that I shoot on, and I have a D40X that's in the living room as a decoration piece currently. If I was to buy a fresh battery for it, I could shoot it. I bought it, and I took product photos with it for years with the 105 macro. I got a really early 105 millimeter macro that's in the cabinet. That it's like a, I don't remember. I looked up the serial number. I think it was a 74 model. It's an AI. It predates AIS. And I got it pretty cheap, like $100. It wasn't much. And I messed around with it, modified it so that it would work on the D810, because the older AI aperture ring wouldn't fit on the camera. It wanted to bind. So I set it up in the milling machine and milled a notch so that little arm feeler would work. And I got it fixed where it would run and I could use it, but I shouldn't have done that to it because it's a beautiful lens, and now it's got that butchery job I did to it in the milling machine. But I use it, and like I said, I took product photos with it for years and worked great. Make sure I ain't missed anything. No, I haven't. But but yeah, I have 2 Leica digital cameras and 3 Nikon digital cameras currently. That's all as far as digitals. Then I got a handful of film cameras. I got the old Zeiss Icon and that Leica R8. There's a little Canon Power Shop. I do have a Canon camera. It's like what's this thing? Somebody gave me these. This is a Canon Z135, and it has a 38 to 135 millimeter zoom lens. It's a little dusty, but let me see. Where's the power button? Oh, it's right here. Turn it on. It works. Yeah. I put a hot battery in it. It spooled right up. It's got all the little zoom marks on it and everything. Oh, y'all can't really see because I've got the Carolina Chickadee. But yeah, this is my only Canon camera. Yeah. It don't have no film in it currently. Let's see if I turn it off. It puts up the flash and parks the lens and protects it. Let's see. Yeah, 35 millimeter. I bet you money. It's got some dust on the back lens. I need to clean off of it. Some 22-year-old kid would love to have this for his street photography camera. Because zoomed all the way in, it's 38 millimeter. 38's close enough. And it's autofocus. I'm pretty sure you hit the shutter half. Let's see. Oh no, zoomed way out, it ain't gonna be able to focus close. Yeah, I hear it focusing. Yeah. Okay. Had to make sure the focus worked in it. But yeah, it's autofocus. Yeah, that's cool. When I was a kid, this would have been a very high-end luxury camera in our household. To have all of that technology in our camera, we didn't have this sort of stuff. We had like the little Kodak point and shoots that didn't even have focus. You know, they were fixed aperture, whatever, and fixed lens, and you just took the pictures. And that's what we had. That's all our family photos were taken with them. You know, they're at like F16 or whatever, so they had the mandatory pop-up flash. There's a chat going on my phone that I ain't involved in. But yeah, that's my only Canon camera. I have that one. But I have a Minolta, I think it's a D700. Not, you know, film camera. But yeah, I have 3 Leicas and 3 or 4 Nikons. I think it's just 3. The Z50, the ZF, and the D40X. And then 2 Leica digital. Yeah, I still have 5 digital cameras, and I got rid of a bunch of stuff. I'm seriously looking at maybe going through my lenses and starting to thin the herd seriously, because I started organizing them. I have a lot of 50, 55, and 58 millimeter glass. A lot of it. You can, you know. And on the camera is a TTRs and 35 f1.4. Not one of those others, you know. Doesn't make good sense to just let it sit there. It needs to be used. It needs to be somewhere where someone will use it and get some utility out of it. It's kind of some, I've been dwelling on that here lately. Oh wow, Joe's on the GFX 100S. Nice, dude. Those are beautiful cameras. Wow. Hassan had a Pentax point and shoot. Lost it in Honduras. Wow. It's interesting to see them kind of stories soak to the surface, even in the chat. Bass Angler says he has a good home for the 500. Yeah. I'll probably hang on to the 500 phase Fresnel, mainly because it takes such great photos, and I do like to occasionally get out and take pictures of wildlife. Exhibit A. You know, I'm halfway tempted to print that one. I like that photo. But Albert says, I'm glad you guys now understand why I'm sick and tired of watching photographers on YouTube complain and encourage people not to buy a camera because it missed 5 out of 100 images. Yeah. You got 95 good ones you can pick from, and you're worried about the 5 that you get that don't fit your criteria or meet your standards. Yeah, I get that. I've seen them videos. You know, like Jared Poland used to do them videos where he'd have one of his helpers walk towards the camera and he'd just fire full auto and see how many of them it would get in focus, you know, as it's trying to track focus between the rapid fire shots. And it would get like 19 out of 20 and he'd just rail on it. Like, well, that's not that great. It shouldn't have missed them. But it missed one here. Yeah, I've seen that. There, go eat nice again. Oh wow, Hassan's actually going to print a picture. Hassan took a photo of his little kid's soccer team sitting on the sideline and with the coach in the frame, and it kind of puts you in the mind of the Last Supper painting by, was it Da Vinci or whoever painted that one, where it's a long table, and it does kind of have that vibe to it. When you look at the picture, it just kind of puts you in that mindset. He said he's going to print it, and that's cool. I'm glad you're going to. I'm thinking about reprinting something for this frame, and because that's the skyline of Arizona, Flagstaff, Arizona at night. That's where that's at. I just set the camera up on a tripod and done a long exposure. I don't remember how many seconds. I'm not even sure where that digital file is anymore. I'm not even sure if I still have it. Oh, that's right. You emailed it to me, didn't you? Let's see. All right. No. This one. Let me see it. I am in search of an email. Let's see here. Let's see. Now let's look for one with an attachment. Well, uh-oh. I don't see the attachment. Is this it? Nope. What? Sorry, Hassan. If you'll email it to me again, I cannot find it. I don't know what's happened to it. It's not here. I may have deleted it inadvertently. I delete all the junk mail and I do them in batches, and I may have got it wrapped up in it because it's not in my list. What's this one? No. Oh, these are where it tells me that. Okay. Let me get out of the. Go back to the primary. Let's try it here. Nope, it's all the YouTubes. Interesting. I don't know what's happened there. Now I feel bad. Bizarre. I don't know what happened to it. Okay. I'm going to hop back over here and turn it back into live streamy stuff. There we go. I texted it, but I can email it real quick. Ah, good. Okay. That's why. All right. Well, we're just going to try again then. Ah, there we go. Yeah. All right. Let's open with. Nope, nope, nope. Let's do this. Download. Okay. Oops. Almost had tragedy there. Now, let's close this. Open this back up. Get that going. Oh, look. There's still a picture here. This is just chaos. Got the picture. Okay. Let's get the downloads folder. Yep, there it is. Opened up. And we drag it over to here. There it is. Oh, haven't switched over yet. All right, close this. Do this. There we go. All right. But yeah, check it out. It just it does. It gives you that vibe when you look at the picture. I think this is an awesome photo. Everything about this is just cool. I would absolutely print this and frame it. Everything about it, just awesome. But the coach makes it. That's the magic right there. Thank you, Hassan. That's awesome. But yeah, I enjoy that sort of thing. If you haven't done it yet, hit the like button. Hit some of them hearts in the chat or whatever, because I'm pretty sure that YouTube looks at that or something. Let's see. Nice. Yeah, that's incredible. Here, I'll do that. I'll leave it up for a little while. That way everybody can get a chance to see it. Joe is selling off some equipment. I'm on pause, though, now to see what happens with the tariff and used equipment price. That didn't even occur to me. You make a good point. All this camera gear from overseas that we're sitting on just might be about to become much more valuable. Huh. Didn't think of that. Yeah, because I was about to sell off a bunch of these 50 and 58s and keep the ones I shoot with. Because I've got certain ones I gravitate towards and like. And then there's some that I just don't ever use. I have an old 51.4 Nikkor. I never get it out. I just never use it. It's a cool old lens. Never get it out. You know, it just lingers in the case. Yeah, Joe, right. Now, speaking of money, there's something on the table right here I want to show you. These are graphics cards, all right? About 5 years ago, these were quite valuable. This one was worth like $1,000. This is an old GTX 1080. Now, this is a Founders Edition. This one's actually made by NVIDIA. This was the one that was in this computer earlier today. This graphic card works great. It's actually a great card. It works fine. The words GeForce GTX actually glow on it when you power it up. It's cool. But I was crypto mining with it, or trying to. I was having a lot of trouble with that. But I put it in this computer for graphics duties, and it run like 13 watts of power draw and barely ever got like warm. But I got to rooting around in my old graphics card stuff, and, you know, there's a bunch of them miners are still sitting down there on the shelf. I've cannibalized stuff off of them, so none of them are mine now. I'd have to go through and reconfigure all that crap to try and get it to do it. But I found a RTX 2070, which is what is actually in the computer now. I found a GTX 1660 Ti that looks brand new. I'm not even sure if I ever even actually used this one. And then I done some experimenting, and I bought one of these Radeon Pro WX 7100. This is a server graphics card. This is not meant to do heavy duty, what do you call it? heavy duty workloads. I'm going to switch back over. The reason I like this card, single slot width card. And it still has a blower fan that blows through the card. Has 4 monitor inputs. Now they're all digital video. There's no HDMI here, which I don't mind. I like the DVI or the digital video ports. They work fine for me. But I like the fact that it's so thin. This is awesome that the card is that small. But yeah, I got an RTX 2070. It runs perfect. 1660 Ti, and then I've got a whole bunch of GTX 1080s. I have a bunch of them. I have a bunch of For the Win too, and they're almost all EVGA. They're great cards, but some of them have started to leak oil out of the oil. They have those heat pipe cooling systems on them that's trapped oil, and they're weeping oil. They're all wet along the bottom edge of the cards. So I don't know what that means, but that can't be good. These cards didn't have any issues with oil, so that's why I brought them in. I was kind of glad to see the Founders Edition card was good. That's a really nice card. It works really well. I don't know if any of y'all do much with video cards in your computers, but when I play 4K video footage on YouTube on this monitor, this BenQ monitor, I think, is a 4K monitor. I don't remember, but you can see the workload go way up. I run a program. Let me just show you. It's easy to do. Yeah, I'll switch it over. I've got these 2 terminal windows set up on half screen. This one's running all the time, and it's showing the GPU workload. You can see it's RTX 2070 and the Ryzen 5 5600G CPU that has 6 cores and 12 threads or whatever that is. Shows all your memory disbursement and what's going on with it. All this is constant streaming data stream. It's kind of nice. But, you know, if you want it to be full screen, you just make it bigger. But it'll stretch that out. Because I'm streaming, you're getting this 35% workload. But yeah, these... See, I can put it back over here. There we go. But that's a cool program to let you monitor your system. I leave it running all the time just so I can kind of see what the different applications generate workloads with. I always thought that was kind of cool. This program is called BTOP, B-T-O-P. You download it through, I think it's apt-get. So you type sudo apt-get BTOP, and it'll install it. And then you just type BTOP in the terminal, and like right here, like if I click in this terminal window, just type BTOP, off it goes. You know. And then we can quit the BTOP. Let's see here. You know, and you're back to the terminal. But it's a neat little program for monitoring system resources. It's kind of cool. Oh look, I've got an extra one going there. There we go. But I do things in the terminal. It's kind of fun. It works. Let's see. Where's this one? There we go. We'll bring that back. Because it's always cooler to look at Nick Orlenz's. Oh, look. I got another photo. Let's see. Let me get it out here. I ain't got it yet, Woody. Nope, still not here. I refreshed the page to make sure. It's not here yet. I'm going to leave the chat. Let me just pull the chat in. I'm going to move it out of the way. Let's tag that there. Yeah, we can set this here for now. Lock it there. And then I can click this. Well, that didn't help at all. That still pushed them behind. Huh. I'm looking. It's not here. I don't know why. Bizarre. I got Hassan's right away. Okay. We'll see in a minute. It'll probably come through in a minute. There we go. I'll watch it. I'll watch for it. We'll see. There we go. Looking to see it. I'm curious to see it. Oh. Still showing as a draft on his end. There we go. But I've always been kind of infatuated with graphics cards until it got into the 30 series. Once it got into them and it was, I'll just show you with this card and this card. That's a double slot card, and that's a single slot card. Okay, once I got past this, I was no longer interested in graphics cards because they just got too big. And you have to have special power connectors and much bigger power supplies to feed them. And this is a wonderful graphics card. If you ever needed a good graphics card for light video editing and stuff, the 1660 Ti is a phenomenal card. I was going to default to it if the 2070 didn't work, but it's working great. So. I see what Hassan said now. He just counted the girls. There's 12 of them. You got to print this and frame it and give it to the coach. He needs that picture. Along with the story. Everything you just told me, he needs this. I think Judas is the little girl behind the coach. Where did my picture viewer go? Oh no. Did I close it? I must have. Oh well. Okay, let's look and see. Yeah, it's here now. Okay. Woody, you didn't attach the picture. Try again. Yeah, the picture isn't here. I got the email, but there's no picture. I was making sure it wasn't high res and loading slow. Sorry. You'll have to try one more time. Let me get my OBS window back up. There we go. And my chat box. There we go. Oh, moved the wrong one. Yeah, I'm moving windows around so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. I'm watching for it. We'll see in a second. I will downsize it. Yeah, if it's a big file, it'll take a while to import into the email because the Gmail scans it for viruses or something, and if it's a big file, it takes it a while. It's kind of their way of, I guess, slowing down the inevitable. That's why you don't get out of the car. The bears will eat the photos. Okay. Oh, that's hilarious. Refresh the email. Nope, still not here. Wonder why. I don't know. It's odd that it doesn't come through like it does. It takes forever. Get this back where it was. There we go. All right. I had something else I was going to share, but I'm not quite ready with it yet. It has to do with why people are motivated to make YouTube short content, and it has mainly to do with the I would say, I would use the term risk versus reward because that's the closest term I can come up with, but it has to do with the amount of work required for the payoff. Now, my numbers are very small. You have to bear that in mind when I share them. I'm going to make the video about it, but I got a YouTube short that I made. I think it's of mine and Tim's cameras. They were sitting on the table, and I just filmed it with my phone and uploaded it and put some text with it or whatever. And that short's got 4,000 or 5,000 views. It's 15 seconds. It don't take long to get 4,000 views at 15 seconds, and it's earned like 25 cents or something. I was like, okay. The last long form video I uploaded, I think's earned like $1.50 with 300 or 400 views, and it's cause the commercials or whatever, the advertising is more valuable on a long form video. But I spent hours and hours and hours filming, and then hours and hours editing, and then I don't know how long I spent making the thumbnail and uploading all of that and typing a big description that has keywording in it and all of that. And the 15-second video I shot with my phone made 20%, 15% of that in literally 15 seconds. I can see why people move to shorts and move away from long form content. Once I saw that, and I realized all you need is shorts that people want to watch. And if you can get 20, 30,000 views on a short, it will completely replace a video that you spent hours and hours making that only makes a few bucks. You can easily, it's a lot easier to get the risk versus reward, or whatever the wording is there, seems to be much greater in the photography space for shorts. I didn't realize it until I done that, until I was just kind of looking at the analytics behind the scenes, and I was opening the videos, and I opened some of the shorts and looked at them, and because you can see, like, they harvest all sorts of data for you. They harvest whether it's male or female, sometimes the age. They have enough information to know the ages of a bunch of it. They'll tell you regions, like how many from the U.S., how many from England. It's got the world map, and like you can hover over the different countries, and it'll tell you how many people saw that video in that country. It's all sorts of information. There's Phil. How you doing tonight? He's hopped in late. Yeah, let's see here. We're at 1 hour and 13 minutes already. Sorry, I didn't warn anybody. I just spooled the stream up, and I was just like, who shall ever come, come. And that's a but yeah. But yeah, I've just been chatting about all sorts of stuff. We went over some lenses and some Nikon rumors that I found that I thought was kind of interesting. Some video cards that I was talking about, like I've got some cards I've been putting in my computer messing with. My cameras a little bit. But yeah, I like the new cameras. I can't see anything that draws my attention now. Like, I'm out. I just can't find it. There has to be a need for me at this point. Phil hopping on gives me that revelation. Like our friend Ray, he has a pair of Z9s that he shoots sports with. It's a perfect tool. He's got them set up to where he can, and he's got the lenses for those cameras that he needs to shoot all the sporting events he likes to shoot, and it works beautifully for him. He gets incredible photos and videos with those cameras and those lenses. It's the right tool for the job, and it serves him really well. You know, could he get those with a D850? I really don't think so. I mean, he's next level with his sports photography. It's incredible what he's capturing with those cameras. You know, his skill with them is it's incredible. For me, that camera is super overkill. I considered one for a little bit. I really did. And I was then when I got to really thinking about it, it was like it would just be wasted. It really would. I would not use half of the tools that it brings with it. That's just not who I am. And then when the ZF came out, that was who I am. And I have never looked back. You know, that's the camera that I wanted when the ZFC came out. That's what I was hoping the ZFC would be. I was hoping the ZFC would be essentially a Fuji X-T3 but made by Nikon. You know, and it would have the Z mount, and then the Z, and Nikon glass would fit it natively, and that's kind of what I was hoping with it, but it wasn't. Sorry about that. But yeah, I am super happy with the tools I currently have, and I think I will thin out the lens collection some more. Because, like I said, there's a bunch of glass that's here that I never even touch. I just don't. It just sits there. I think I'm going to roll it through eBay this time. Because sending it off to one of the camera companies, a lot of lenses they don't want anymore. They just want the more modern stuff that they can flip pretty easy in like 30 days. They don't want to sit on it a long time. And, maybe KEH would be interested because they like some of the more older vintage stuff. But I've noticed that the big three, MPB, KEH, and Use Photo Pro, they typically want stuff they can turn pretty quick, And the stuff I have ain't that stuff. But I just want to get some stuff out of this room. This room is starting to close in on me because I have so much junk in it. And it's just starting to get... It's overcrowded, and I just need to have less of it. So, like a bunch of these ham radios are going to go away this fall. I got a lot I want to get rid of. I just want it because I don't use it. It just sits here. And it's like, why do I keep adding crap to this pile when I'm not using what I have already and it works perfectly fine? I just don't use it. It's like I need to pare it down, It just seems like it makes more sense to do that. I see these guys and they'll have, a nice DSLR body and the Holy Trinity, and that's all they own. And I'm a little bit envious of them because they don't have a whole bunch of excess stuff that they have to wade through and tend and make sure it don't get dust on it and it don't grow, fungus in it, and then they have to buy organizers to store them or anything. They just have their little set, and that's all they work with. That's what I would kind of like to have. But I still have favorite lenses that are odd, and I'll still have quite a few. Don't think I'm gonna get down to one. I'm not that guy. But I do want to get rid of a bunch of them that I just don't ever get out and use. There's quite a few. Jay says he shoots Nikon and Fuji. I wouldn't have started with Fuji if Nikon had started with mirrorless sooner. Yeah. I think that was kind of the reason I got the XT3. I wanted that little mirrorless body. And I like the XT3 reminds me of the ZF. I like the idea of the knobs, and it had a really nice sensor. I don't remember who Fuji gets their sensors from, if it's a Sony or if it's whose, but I don't think Fuji makes their own sensors. I'm pretty sure they buy them. Oh, excuse me. Try not to yawn straight into the microphone for you guys. Y'all don't need to hear that. But yeah, that XT3 really appealed to me. And I enjoyed shooting with that camera. I bought the battery grip because it had little teeny batteries and they wouldn't last no time by themselves. But with the battery grip, I don't remember if you got 3 in the camera or 2 in the camera. I don't remember if the grip had the extension housing or if it had. I think it had 3 in the camera. I think you had 1 in the grip and then 2 on the battery grip. And that allowed you to have 3 batteries in camera. Yeah, it did, because you could charge the one in the grip through the USB port. And then it had a special charger that charged the grip batteries. You just plugged it in separate. So I could charge them all in camera technically, but with 3 batteries it would last all day, and I didn't have to change batteries with that little grip. Plus it added enough grip my hand fit it better. I really liked that. That was a really fun camera to shoot. I don't regret selling it, only because it was Fujifilm's X mount, and that mount's small. And adapting all those lenses to it extended all of them's focal length effectively, because it's a crop sensor, so everything had to be figured on that. If I still had it, I don't know. I like this thing. I really do like this thing, but I don't know. I don't super miss it. I like the camera, but I don't miss it. It's weird. I kind of miss my D810 at times, because that thing had some pretty nice performance functionality to it. All right, bass angler. I might get out my fancy pencil I bought and make me a note here. I got my notepad out on purpose. Making a note. Okay. But yeah, that Fuji 100 GFX 100S kind of interesting. I mean, that's a lot of pixels to work with, and the sensor ain't that much bigger than the 35 millimeter. Oh, it was like 40 by 50 millimeters, something like that. It's an odd size, but it's also a really cool sensor. I like it, and the idea of the Hasselblad medium format. I wouldn't mind getting my hands on one of them Hasselblad X2Ds and experiment with it some. I have a photo project idea that I would really be interested in using that X2D and maybe the 60 millimeter lens, which would put it down to about 45 millimeter focal length equivalent, whatever, something like that. But that'd be kind of cool. Because medium format gives you a lot of resolution, so you could print it big. I have an idea where I'd like to make big prints, like a big photo book, kind of like Richard Avedon did with the In the American West book. It's a pretty big book. Phil said he told Tim he wants a Q4 monochrome with a 24 to 70 2.8. Leica makes the L mount in 24 to 70. I don't remember where that lens is made. I think it's a Japanese lens with Leica logos on it. They actually admit that it's not made in Germany or Portugal. They have a factory in Portugal that circumvents some of the import tariffs from before everything went nuts. But yeah, they make a lot of stuff. Like, if you'll notice, a lot of Leica stuff will be made in Portugal or Canada. I think my M adapter L is made in Portugal, and they do that to circumvent import tariffs against Germany. That's the whole point of them factories. Same quality standards, just different country of origin. But yeah, of course, Q4 don't exist in monochrome with a variable zoom lens in a f2.8 aperture. That's a good one. Oh, that's something else. Okay, guys. I've rambled on for an hour and 24 minutes. The little counter right down here on OBS tells me. Let me see. We have 0 frames dropped, too. That's incredible. Normally I drop at least one or two. We have had a good stable internet connection tonight. Yeah, if you guys have any questions or subjects, y'all can shoot me an email. It's in the description of this live stream, video, whatever. And if you go to my website, you can ping me through the contact me page. I'm not going to verbally say the email address because the bots will hear it and I'll start getting junk mail. I already get a bunch and I've been filtering that out. But there is an email to reach me with down in the description. If you have subjects that you want discussed on a live stream or something to go over that I haven't done or to clarify a question, I would be happy to hear them. So until next time, you guys get your cameras out and go take some pictures with them, all right? Because that's what this whole thing's about. It's not about watching some middle-aged guy in Georgia on YouTube, even though, you know, he is kind of handsome. It's more about getting out and taking some pictures of something you enjoy. So until next time, y'all do that. And I really appreciate you guys. You don't know how much I appreciate you. Seriously. I do. It's been great. Thank you so much. I'm going to shut the stream down now before I start crying.